Test 3, Part 1, Passage 1. Listen to a conversation between a student and a university print shop employee. Hi, how can I help you today?
Hi, I just saw an ad the other day and,
Oh, I'm sorry. You mean the 20% off deal, right? That ended just yesterday.
oh, no. I actually came in because I wanted to print some advertisements for the French club that I belong to. We're trying to get the word out about our club and the French language exchange party that we're about to put on for Christmas.
Sure. What format are you interested in using?
I'm not really sure. Can you tell me what you have available?
Well, it depends on what your goals are. Let's see. Okay, flyers are often used. The advantage is that we can do them in any style or color and on any paper you want. A lot of clubs include some sort of graphic or image on their flyers, and we offer a discount on orders of more than 100 flyers, so a lot of clubs prefer this format. Oh, another good thing about them is they can fit any amount of text that you need. You know, like an introduction to the club, information about past activities.
Yeah, I see, but isn't that too common? We want our ad to stick out, so I don't think that's going to work for us. What else can you guys do?
Let me see. Oh, posters are another option. They're typically much larger than flyers and are designed to be posted somewhere that's visible to a lot of people. So many students will see them, even if you only put a few up. The posters are about 3 times as expensive as flyers, but that's because they're made of a different type of paper. You know, a special kind of coated paper. Oh, and you'll need to get them approved by the administrative office before you put them up, which might take some time.
But that's too much of a hassle. What about ads on something like sticky notes?
On sticky notes? What do you mean?
A friend of mine in another club had ads put on pads of sticky notes and passed them out on campus. The strategy was effective because people use sticky notes all the time, so the advertisement got a lot of exposure. And whereas flyers are thrown away almost instantly, people keep pads of sticky notes around for a while.
I see what you mean. It's possible to do that, but, I wouldn't recommend it.
Why not?
For one thing, that type of printing is quite expensive. But the real problem is that it doesn't work as well as it sounds. It's hard to put a lot of information on a sticky note because it's so small. Also, the people who use these don't pay attention to the advertisement itself. So, I'm willing to bet that other approaches will get better results.
Yeah, I guess you're right. We want to make sure that people are informed of our events. What about postcard ads? My sister used postcards for her wedding invitations, but not just regular postcards. They were shaped like bouquets to match the wedding theme. They looked really unique.
Sure, we can do that. We can make customized postcards in almost any shape, but they'll cost a bit more than standard postcards. But like you said, they stick out and people really like them. I think it'd be a good idea.
Yeah, that'd be great. Can I get them made in the shape of the Eiffel Tower?
You mean for the shape of the postcard? Yeah, we could make those.
How long will it take?
Not long. All you fill out a form on our website with all of the information you want on the cards. Then I'll email you an image of what the cards will look like. They'll be cut into the shape of the Eiffel Tower. One side will have an image of the tower on it, and the other side will have text. Once you approve the design, we'll print them up.
Sounds great. I'll fill out the form once I've confirmed the details for our next event. Thanks for your help.
Now get ready to answer the questions. You may use your notes to help you answer. 1. Why does the student go to the print shop? Two. According to the man, what are the advantages of flyers? 3. What is the man's attitude towards sticky note advertisements? Four. Why does the student mention her sister? Five. What does the man need before the postcards are printed?
Test 3, Part 1, Passage 2. Listen to the following lecture about the Montessori Method, an educational philosophy. This is shaping up to be quite an interesting week for us. You know, each semester I do the same thing with my introductory education classes and dedicate a week to learning about various alternative philosophies of learning. And year in and year out, it's always been the time when I feel the students learn the most about their own perspective on education. Well, today is the final lecture of the week, and what better topic to discuss than arguably the most well-known alternative educational philosophy, Montessori. Okay, the Montessori method was developed by an early 20th century Italian educator named Maria Montessori, who specialized in working with developmentally disabled students. She was invited to give a lecture at an educational convention, which was attended by Italy's education minister at the time. He was sufficiently impressed with her ideas to offer her the directorship of the Scuola Ortofrenica, Italy's main school for the developmentally disabled. Montessori accepted the position, more to prove her own theories than anything, and achieved some dramatic results. Her 8-year-old students sat the national reading and writing examinations and actually scored above the national average. This amazing result was dubbed the Montessori Miracle. We can see that Montessori's ideas have some merit, but what are those ideas exactly? We haven't discussed that yet. I guess an important one, to start with, would be the role of teachers. See, in Montessori schools, there technically are no teachers. Pretty revolutionary, right? In a conventional school, a vast majority of the learning taking place is done in a group setting with the teacher talking and the students listening and taking notes. Montessori was not a supporter of this type of passive learning and preferred to put students in charge of their own learning. What happens in Montessori schools is that the teacher, or director in her parlance, is responsible for setting up a comprehensive educational environment within which the student can engage in self-directed learning. This means that there's no set schedule that students have to keep. They choose what they want to learn and when. In this manner, the teachers, directors, work as educational guides to the students' personal learning. Her ideas about self-directed learning are based upon the observations of young children interacting with the world. Take a babbling infant, for instance. Why do little kids babble? To practice using a language. They are learning. Do parents need to force their young children to practice speaking, or do they just do it naturally? We all think the same way, I'm sure. So in Montessori's mind, children have an innate desire to learn and an ability to repeat a task over and over until they improve. That's what they are doing when they babble, right? External motivation isn't necessary when it comes to children learning. It comes from within. And Montessori felt that the staid, one-size-fits-all institutionalized learning that goes on in most schools kills this drive. Now, since children are essentially in charge of their own learning, they also have the ability to decide that they want to work together with other students at any given point. In a regular classroom, with row after row of large, heavy desks, it's next to impossible for students to collaborate on a project, especially when they're separated from one another. For this reason, Montessori used lightweight, child-sized furniture in her classrooms as opposed to the heavy, immobile furniture traditionally found in schools. And instead of setting everything up in rows, the classroom was more free-flowing, with a couple of desks here, a small table there, plenty of carpeted space and mats for students to work together on the floor. This encouraged students to move about the classroom and become active participants in their own learning. Maria Montessori instilled a sense of responsibility in the students themselves. When students first arrive at the school, they are taught a set of rules that all students must live by. Students are responsible for not making excessive noise, not running, asking other students before they touch an activity that a student is working on, things like that. When students want to learn a new activity, teachers initially instruct them on how to use these instruments or toys properly. They are taught to respect the materials and not to swing a violin like a baseball bat or wear it like a hat. Students are also expected to clean up after themselves. If they use an activity, they have to put it back on the shelf where it came from. Students are taught how to use cleanup tools, so if they accidentally make a mess or break something, it's their job to get out the mop or broom and clean up. They aren't punished for it, like in a traditional environment. In this way, the Montessori philosophy is more than just an educational philosophy. It's a lifestyle philosophy that prepares children for social development and helps them to be responsible and interact in an adult world. There's one last thing I want to mention. I just touched briefly on the educational materials that children might use. Well, this is one of the more unique aspects of the Montessori method and warrants a bit more discussion. Compared to standard textbook-based classroom instruction, Montessori education is extremely hands-on. The use of all five senses, especially tactile, is encouraged, and materials try to include some sort of kinetic, movement-oriented aspect along with helping students develop coordination. Take a small wooden block, for instance. Montessori uses these little 1-centimeter blocks for a variety of activities. Young students can use these blocks to build structures to experiment with the physical laws that govern our world, all the while developing hand-eye coordination. Older students use the blocks to learn how to compute lengths, study things like addition, multiplication, and division, and even to figure out algebraic concepts. Instead of the mind-numbing memorization of a multiplication table, for instance, students can learn about multiplication intuitively by using rows of connected blocks. Now get ready to answer the questions. You may use your notes to help you answer. 6. What is the main topic of the lecture? Seven. According to the professor, what is the main responsibility of a Montessori classroom's director? Eight. What does the professor mention a babbling infant? 9. According to the professor, how is traditional school furniture different from Montessori furniture? Listen again to part of the lecture, then answer the question. Do parents need to force their young children to practice speaking, or do they just do it naturally? We all think the same way, I'm sure. So in Montessori's mind, children have an innate desire to learn and an ability to repeat a task over and over until they improve. 10. What does the professor mean when he says this? We all think the same way, I'm sure. Eleven. What can be inferred about typical Montessori educational materials?